Hello, everybody. Welcome to my review of The Poppy War by Rebecca F. Kuang. This is the first book in the Poppy War trilogy. It is a highly fantastic book. Can't recommend it enough. However, I will give you a warning now that this is a very, very, very dark book. It deals with self-harm, sexual violence, mutilation, murder, genocide, things of that nature. So you're someone who's sensitive to that kind of thing, maybe don't read this book. But anyway, quick synopsis, now they've got that out of the way. Fang Runin, or Rin for short, is the protagonist of this book. She's a 14-year-old war orphan who was orphaned during a time of war. Her foster parents are the Fang family. Their occupation is drug dealing. They're drug dealers, smugglers, they are black market operators. So, yeah, you know what kind of people they are. Scum and villainy. They intend to marry Rin off to a government official, so this person kind of turns a blind eye to their illegal dealings. Rin, being 14 years of age, obviously does not want this. And her only way out of her small village of Tikini is to not only take, but do very well on the Keju, which is their countrywide exam. You can kind of think of it as the SATs for Americans. So essentially, everyone takes this test. Depending on how well they do, they can score into one of several different types of academies. The most prestigious being the Sign Guard Military Academy. Test day comes, everyone takes the test, and not only does Rin place at the top of her village, she places the top of the entire province. There are 12 different provinces, each one named after one of the 12 signs of the zodiac, which I thought was pretty cool. So Rin tests well, she leaves her village, and she goes to Sign Guard. About a third of the way into the book, you're really introduced to the hard magic system this book uses. It deals with shamanism and gods as a force of nature. Very cool. I love the way that they introduce it and they use it. Like I said, it's a hard magic system. There are rules that you have to follow. There are definite repercussions to using the magic system. Those who dabble in it too long, they either go mad or they die. The ones that go mad are usually imprisoned in a prison that there's no way to access their magical abilities. And they're in there forever. There's no getting out. As I mentioned earlier in this video, this book definitely deals with the darker parts of humanity. Like I said, sexual violence, there's mass murders, genocide, self-harm, things of that nature. This is definitely a book that I'm pretty numb to violence and that kind of thing. It took me a while to read it because it does get pretty graphic. I won't go into details because I don't want to trigger anybody, but if you're sensitive to that kind of thing, if you're going to read it, read with caution. If you're not suited to that kind of thing, don't read the book. Some things I really enjoyed about this book is the character of Rin. She is phenomenal. She starts off as someone you pity, you really like, and you root for as she leaves her village and goes to school and gets out of school and goes fight war. Something that you really you want to see do well. As the story progresses, her morality goes in a different direction. So things that you think she won't do that, she starts doing. She starts being okay with murder. She starts being okay with people dying on a large scale. The things that make you go, ew, well, I'm not sure how I feel about that. And the way that the author does that is phenomenal. Besides Rin, I like the character of Altan. Altan is another student at the school. You don't really see too much of him in the beginning of the book, but towards the second and definitely the last part of the book, you see him quite a bit. And he is an imperfect person, and I love an author who can make her characters or his characters imperfect. This is something that you see kind of as a glass cannon. He's a powerful person but he has a lot of flaws, and his flaws, you can understand why he has them and why he struggles. What's that cat again? Hey. Anyway, secondly, the setting. The setting is loosely based on 20th century China. The actual entire scope of the book is loosely based off the second, I believe, I'm probably going to say this wrong, but Sino-Japanese War in the 1930s. If you have the ability to read this book, at the end, there's a some words from the author, and she explains how a lot of this book was based on real events, especially like the brutality of war. It lists some of the examples from the book, and like, yeah, that actually happened, which I never learned that much about that part of history. I mean, we breezed through it, but it wasn't American history, so it touched on it, but didn't really go too deep. And the fact that this book brings that to the forefront, I actually took the time after I read the book to actually look at these different events, and oh my goodness, there's some crazy things that happened in China in the 1930s. So that's one of the things I absolutely loved about this book. It brings real-world issues to the forefront. It makes you want to learn more about them, which I love quite a bit. Two things I didn't really care for is, one, the pacing. You spend the first couple chapters of Ren being in the village, taking the test, all that good stuff, and you see a lot of her first year, but in her second and third year, you get practically no time at all. But yeah, I can see it is a fast-paced book, and you have to spend the time somewhere. So they spend first year, second, third year, and then the war. I wish more time. Like, I like the academy type settings, so I wish I could see a little bit more about that. But yeah. And the second thing that I thought was a little weak was the other characters, like the other people that were in. Ow, God. Oh my goodness, this cat's driving me insane. So the other characters, the other people of Ren's squad, once she joins the military, I feel like they could have been developed a little better. A lot of them, they have a baseline or very superficial personalities, and they could have been developed a little bit better. And other than that, I mean, that's only two things I find issues with. I guess I'm pretty easy to please. I don't know. But yeah, that was my take on The Poppy War. Fantastic book. There is a third thing, actually. It's not really a con, though. So throughout the first book, I couldn't really see where the author was going. Like, he spent all this, it's pretty much one big setup for books 2 and 3, which I'm okay with. But actually being in the book, you're like, okay, where is this all leading? In the last probably like 10 pages, you know exactly what's going to happen. It's really cool, but it takes the rest of the book to get to that point. But that's the benefit. It has this nice solid framework to go off of. So when it is time for book 2 and 3, you can hit the ground running. But anyway, that's it for my review of The Poppy War. Again, if you can, check out the author, Rebecca F. Kuang. She's phenomenal. She's pretty young, her early 20s still, I believe. Like 20, maybe 25, I'm not sure. But she's young, incredibly intelligent. Check her out. She has a website. She's done interviews with actually another booktuber, Daniel Greene, one of my favorites. She actually did an interview with Daniel. I highly recommend you check that out on YouTube. And yeah, so just so you guys know, I do have a couple other videos coming down the pipe. I have a review of New Spring, which is a Wheel of Time prequel, my favorite series in the world. I cannot stop gushing about it. So other than that, which will probably be not the next video, but the one after that, I should have it later this week. I also have my February TBR to be announced. That'll probably be done Monday or Tuesday, so before New Spring. It's going to be interesting. So, if you haven't already, subscribe so you can see my thoughts on these books. I definitely recommend hitting the little bell icon so you get a notification whenever I launch or whenever I put up a new video. Like the video if you actually liked it. Feel free to comment. I do respond to the comments. And again, let me know if this microphone setup is working or if it's not working at all. Let me know. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. I completely missed that. Whatever. So I completely realized, or completely forgot rather, that I forgot to give a rating. So I give The Poppy War a 7 out of 10. Great read, highly recommend it. And yeah, bye. I got it that time.